I'm just going to give everybody a few seconds to see that I am live, and then I will commence with sharing with you guys everything that is on my heart. So I'm doing, for the first time ever, two lives at the same time. So I've got two cameras pointing at me. I'm live on my Creative Heart group. Hello, everybody. And I'm also live on my YouTube channel for the first time. Hello, everybody. It is so nice to be able to take this moment and just share with you guys from my heart, because there's a lot happening in my life right now, and I want you guys to sort of be in the loop. And there's been a lot of friends that joined me over in the Creative Heart group that found me on YouTube. Thank you for my amazing community that I have on both of these platforms. And as a creatively fit coach, it is the desire of my heart to be of service to my community. And in doing so, I'm hopefully helping to inspire you. And I'm hoping to sort of, just show you that having a creative heart is inherently part of who you are. I think there's a common misconception in the world out there, especially because our Western world is so focused on product, end product. So if you don't have an end product in your art that you can sell, or that you can hang up in your house, that you can frame or give as a gift, then it is considered not art. I don't know why that is. Another sort of misconception that we have in the Western world especially is that playing in your art studio or in an art journal, or just having a few minutes where you just play with art materials, is a waste of time. What? That is just like, oh my God, no. Any creative endeavor is an amazing soul journey, really. So that cannot possibly be a waste of time. My biggest job as a creatively fit coach is to remind people that creativity is inherently part of our human DNA. We use creativity, whether you think about it or not, every single day. We use it to solve problems. We use it to plan our lives and to sort of find the best way to do those things, We just do them instinctively. And when problems arises, challenges arises, difficulties arises, even solving a math problem takes creativity to solve. Let that sink in for a second. That's amazing. So what I think the general population out there confuse creativity with artistic skill or technique. And, the latter two can be learned. It can be developed. So if creativity is already part of your DNA, and you can attend a class with a coach or an art teacher, or you can go to art school, you can learn the rest. You can develop technique and skills. So, the only training that I have in the art world is my Creatively Fit training certification. Hi, Karen. And I also have a diploma in modern applied psychology. The rest that you see behind me is, self-taught. So I do understand in psychology we have this whole sort of argument between nature and nurture. And I'm actually of the opinion that it takes both nurture and nature in order to really, have a full-bodied experience. So I do understand that there's a lot of you out there say, okay, but you are talented. You have a gift. And yes, I acknowledge that. Some of us as artists are naturally sort of born to be artists. And hopefully most of you are going professional and you are filling this world with amazing art pieces. But that is not the destiny, or at least not the story that all of us can tell, right? My story literally sort of begins in school. where I really wanted to have art as a major subject, and I really had a vision to go study textile design and to have an amazing career as an artist. Unfortunately, by the time I went into high school, there was no art available at the school that I could attend. So that dream got squashed really quickly. So my high school years was really difficult. It was years where I was bullied for who I am as a gay person. And it really took me a long time to find my own identity, to find my own voice, and to be finally, I don't know, give myself permission, I guess, to really delve into art and begin to explore this dream of mine that wasn't made available to me when I was young. So I know a lot of you can identify with that. Hi guys, thank you for tuning in. It is so lovely to have you all here. Please drop me a comment, tell me where you're watching from. And if you do have any questions during this live, please just type them in the chat. I will look into it afterwards and I will answer all of your questions. Okay, so let me continue with my story. So it wasn't until I think 2016 that I really had this big existential crisis that helped me to understand that art was not only just a hobby or something that I was hoping to do one day. I learned that art for me was a personal value. It is something that I needed to do every day in order to have my mental health, emotional health, and my general well-being. So when I'm in my art studio playing with my art supplies, that is my therapy. That is how I compartmentalize. That is how I figure out what the hell is going on in my world. And that is where I process difficult emotions so that I can gain clarity in order to go back into the world and then face it with integrity, authenticity, and with, a decision made in my heart as to what is the correct path for me to follow. I think one of the biggest challenges that we have in our modern world today is that we are crowd pleasers. We have become like sheep, especially on social media. It is so interesting for me to see in social sort of psychology understanding that, people tend to follow crowds. And I'm always reminding people to, never forget your own personal voice, because listening to your own authentic higher self, soul, beautiful integrity being self is such an important thing to discover in this world, because there's so many voices, right? These voices telling us, over social media, on the television, on the internet, our friends and colleagues that we spend time with every day at the workplace or at school. So we have to listen and observe and absorb so much information, and it is all based on everyone's perspective, which is unique to them. So, in this sea of opinion, in the sea of information, it is very difficult to lose yourself and to lose your own voice and to sort of follow the crowd, because that seems to be the easier thing to do rather than to sort of hack out your own path. And, my life worked out that way, that the road most sort of used and walked was not meant for me. My road, I unfortunately had to carve out myself. But you know what? Today, I'm very grateful for this. Why? Because I learned to listen to my own voice, and I learned to figure out what is my creativity, what is my art, and that is a journey that will never end, right? So I know a lot of you over in my Creative Heart group, you guys have joined my group because you saw what I do on YouTube or you've heard of me elsewhere. And a lot of you joined saying, that you are ready for your creative practice. You're ready to get into some kind of painting practice or some kind of art journal or some kind of project just to be playful and to develop your art. Well, this is exactly why I created this group. And this is also exactly why I have this channel on YouTube. Thank you for both of these platforms, because they're, free, and it helps me to connect with an audience that sort of resonates with what I have to say and offer. And I hope that I'm speaking to you today. So if you've been around for a while, thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your love. If you're new to my channels, either to my group or on my YouTube, thank you. Please remember to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so that you don't miss out on a single episode, because I'm excited to share with you guys what we're going to be doing next. Okay, but let's just first get into the overhanging umbrella of what I'm all about. And for me, it's all about creative community. So I really hope that through my platforms and my offerings on YouTube and in my group, that you guys can find a community where you feel that you belong, a place where you can try something new in your creative practice and share it, become vulnerable with the people that is growing with you in this beautiful community, and then that you will find the support and the love and the courage there in order to continue, because it's so easy to give up, right? Hi everybody, thank you Desiree for watching. It is so nice to have you here. Hi Nan. So that is absolutely stunning. So I want us to develop our creative practice or our art practice through community, because community in our big world is so important right now. I think there's one thing that we learned through COVID is that how quickly community can be taken away from you, how quickly we can be isolated. And I think that was a scary moment for most of us, right? And I don't think there was a soul on this planet that wasn't affected by it in some way or another. And I really think that it sort of gave us a pause. It gave us a moment to breathe and to inhale and to reflect upon what is happening in our world, what is important and what is not so important. Because I think you will agree with me, if you go on any social media, if you watch the news, the world is a crazy place right now, right? So we do need a bit of sanity somewhere, something that makes sense, especially to a smaller community or a tribe or to you as an individual, right? So I know as a creatively fit coach, the power and impact that a creative practice can have on your physical, emotional, and mental health. So if you're one of those guys that sits on the fence and just watch one video after another, I know, because that was me a few years back, looking at YouTube, looking at groups on Facebook and having these amazing artists do these amazing artworks, and all I could do was dream and wish that one day I would have the opportunity to go to art school and to learn all of these wonderful tricks and techniques and to become an artist, And I think the first thing that really changed my life when I started with my Creatively Fit Coach training was that first exercise where I literally had to write on my page, I am an artist. I am the artist of my life. And those were profound words in order to write down, look at it, and realize what it is that I'm saying. And that instant changed my life forever, because for the first time in my life, I gave myself permission to be the artist that I wanted to be. It wasn't necessary to go to art school. It wasn't necessary to go on that journey that so many other people do go on. And I admired them, and I was actually quite frankly envious and jealous of them. But a lot of my art friends that did go that route, that did study art, said to me in recent years that they admire my art, my tenacity, my persistence, my courage, because what I am creating is almost innocent. There is a freedom to my expression that they desire. In a way they wish that they had that, because going through formal training, as some of you will know, really conditions you to think as a professional. It makes you think in systematic techniques that give you the results time and time again, and that's excellent to know and to learn, because they're going to need that as professional artists. Maybe you are a graphic designer or a fine artist or whatever the case may be, so you do need to be a master of your mediums that you work in, right? I get all of that. But that doesn't mean that art is not allowed for you as a normal layperson down there in your little home, on your kitchen table, wherever the case may be. And I know a lot of you are sitting on the sidelines. So today, please forgive all the noise. My doggies are excited about all the people walking down the street. So just forgive me. Okay. So there's two questions that I would like to share with you guys. And we will sort of reflect on that as an overhanging umbrella for us going forward. Okay, so the first question that I want you to ask yourself when you look at my videos on YouTube or as I'm sharing it into our Creative Heart group, and the first thing is, how can this help my art? So, I know that as we play with our art journals, with our canvases, with whatever we are doing. Hi guys, thank you so much for watching. The offering that I'm bringing in that episode, which I like to call a heart prompt, it really is something to reflect on. And you can say to yourself, okay, so how can I use this week's art prompt in my practice as it is today? And how can it help me maybe to try something new or to add something that I've never thought of, right? So that's exactly what I do when I come to my art journal. Like I said to you guys, I don't overly prepare for an episode because I do like sort of some part of me. I think that's my process. That's how I work. That higher self, that intuition, that spark of inspiration or seeing something in the moment is really special for me because that's intuitive, right? That's just happening in the moment and I'm responding to the page in the moment. So that's why sometimes turn the volume off and I just go into the process so that later I can come back and do a voiceover and make rational sense about it, right? And then the second question that you should ask yourself is, how can this be applied metaphorically to the art that is my life? Because I believe that everything can in some way be a metaphor for us to look at our lives so we can develop our art and we can develop the art that is our life. And I think that is the overhanging umbrella where me as a creative coach come and say, okay, for example, one of the recent prompts, we looked at the elements. And I think the last episode of the elements will air today. So look out for that sort of episode that will run this afternoon at 4 o'clock. So looking at an element, for example, you can say, okay, how can I apply fire not only to my art, but how can I apply it to my life? So, in the fire episode, I literally burned papers. I created charcoal. I burned holes into papers and literally used fire as an element to create elements for my collage. But then I also turn it around and I say, okay, but how can I use fire in my life, right? How can I be more passionate? How can I be more driven? What can fuel my passion and my fire in my life, either for my art, for my relationships, for my community? Can you see how things can be applied metaphorically, both to your life as well as your art? And that excites me because you know what? Art is so much more than just paint on a canvas or paper on a collage page in your journal. It's so much more. It has a message and it's constantly communicating, even on an energetic level. It is more than just ink on a page. And I'm really hoping to inspire those of you that say that you are ready for a creative practice and that you are ready to begin, but you haven't started yet, right? So this is exactly where this community is so important for me, because I really, gain so much joy from seeing when somebody takes that moment, have the courage to take a pen or a pencil or a piece of paint or whatever the case may be and just smear it on that page and express yourself. I'm reminded you can do that the next time you see a toddler or a young child playing with crayons or with art supplies. Just observe them. because they have no clue what they're doing, but they don't care, you know. All they care about is this color and how they are making marks on the paper with such glee and joy and abandonment, and not caring so much about, you know, whether it is technically correct or if it really is in proportion or if it is something that you can hang on the fridge or sell it, right? So I want to take you back to that inner child, because for a lot of you, that is where your creative development stopped. The minute when you came into teenage years and the hormones hit the screen and your life, and nobody is ever prepared for all of the, you know, embarrassment and shame and all of these things that come along with being a teenager, right? I mean, those are hectic years, pimples and hormones, and don't know who you are, but yet, you know, you're starting to try and find your own voice. And through trauma and shaming and comparison, we begin to unlearn listening to our creative right brain, and we start to develop and focus far more on our left brain, which is, you know, all about logic and facts and function and the past, the big P, the big past. Whereas the right brain focuses more on the immediate present moment and draws energy from our higher self, and that is where the intuition flows from, right? So unfortunately, there's this thing for a lot of us that creep in, and it's called perfectionism. And you know what? I think a big part of my job as a coach is to tell people to, you know, soften that lines a little bit, because perfectionism, especially in art, is an extremely high standard to try and attain with every little exercise. And I constantly have to remind my clients that, you know what, a hand-drawn, skewy, you know, wiggly line that you make with your brush that's not so beautiful is far more interesting than something that was printed by a printer, you know. And it's so easy to sort of put ourselves in that position when we pick up a brush or we pick up an art tool to expect perfection first time. And you know what? I've been doing this for a while, and I can promise you that 9 out of 10 times, whatever I do is experimental and play. It's that one time when things just flow and it happens and it comes together and it's beautiful. In the end, you might see it on a wall or something like that. So there's more times that I try and fail than I do have, you know, an immaculate piece of art that I'm proud of. But you know what? I've learned to look for the things in that art that is beautiful, meaningful, and I focus on that. That which is either ugly or it doesn't work, or, you know, it just is not, you know, functioning the way that I hoped it would, I don't focus so much on that. I take the lesson that I've learned from it and I try to move on. But I never stop. So persistence is really one of the keys. Okay. So I've got a few keywords that I want to share with you guys, because this is what I feel the Creative Heart community is all about. For me, first and foremost, it is about my tribe, my community. It's a place where I can say what I want to say and express what I want to express in my art in a safe place. And that's hopefully what I've created for you guys as well. A place where you can feel safe to become vulnerable and to share your art, even if it's an artwork in progress, because we know life is a process, right? We don't show up with, you know, like a Barbie doll in a little case with all of our little clothes and things that we can have, and there you go. Life doesn't work like that. Life is a process, and the same goes for art. So the first thing I want to encourage you guys is to participate. Participation is really key, because that is where we start to learn from each other. If you share something, I share something, you know how that game works. And so we learn from each other and we grow together. So I want to encourage you guys. On Fridays, I have Share Your Art, which is focused on having your art shared. What doesn't matter what it is, whether it's an oil painting, whether it's a jacket that you are knitting, whether it's a cake that you've baked, or whether you've placed some beautiful flowers on your altar and took a photo for me. That is your creativity, right? But the rest of the week, hi Mona, thank you so much for tuning in. It's lovely to have you here. The rest of the time, the rest of the week, I encourage you guys to share anyway, but share what we are focusing on for that week. So if we're looking at, the element of fire, see maybe how you can bring fire to your creative practice, to a project that you're currently working on in some way, whether it be metaphorically as in passion, or as in physical and using smoke or charcoal or whatever as an element to create with. So it doesn't matter if you're a landscape artist, you're a still life artist, you are a cake maker, you're a sugar artist. I don't really care what your medium is. Thank you guys for all the hearts and the love. I appreciate it. I want you guys to sort of just look at the prompt for that week and see how you can bring it into your focus, into your mind, into your journals, into your art for that week, and then share that and say, this week Gideon talked about fire, and this is what I did with fire in my journal or in my artwork. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that participation in our group. The second word I want to bring up is co-create. There's something magical that happens when we start to co-create with an idea and we start getting excited, talking about it, sharing about it, and focusing on it, right? The third word is share. So I've mentioned this already. Share, share, share. Keep sharing, because you know what? I do believe there's enough bad news in the world. In fact, I don't even turn on the television anymore. I've dismantled the television, satellite dish. I don't have DSTV. I don't have Netflix. I don't have any of these things. I go on YouTube when I want to watch something, and we stream something when we're in the mood. But you know what? It's liberated me to turn the television off in a big way. In fact, now I'm standing in front of the camera, creating my own content. That's a powerful moment, because I used to be a television addict. I used to lie weekends away in front of the television, watching one story after the other, going to bed, dreaming about being an artist, waking up the next day and putting the television on. And you know what happens is we get down into that programming, and that's how the world teaches you how to react and to respond, because we are being programmed by our televisions. And the day that I decided enough, stop with all of this negative news and nonsense, and I started to zone in on content that is nourishing me, content that is feeding me, content that is inspiring me, content that is uplifting me, it changed my life forever. So I want to challenge you guys to look at that screen time and say, you know what, there's a lot of wasted time that you guys have that you spend on Facebook or on television or whatever that you could be using in your creative practice. So for me, it's all about balance, right? All right, so the next word I want to focus on is support. Support each other, support me, and I support you. And when we do that, we start to rise above our situations, and it empowers me as a creative coach, as an artist, so that my audience can grow, so that I can reach more people with this positive message of affirmation, creativity, and empowerment. And I really, really appreciate all the likes, all the shares, and all the content that you guys, the comments, and so forth. So I'm really saying thank you from my heart for that. But I want to offer that back to you guys as well. And that's my main drive. So the next words are grow and have fun, right? When we grow and have fun, those two words are self-explanatory. So I really want to invite you guys to join my community and to get involved with my weekly heart prompts that I share. And you'll see the way that I spell that heart prompt. It's literally heart as well as art. So in a way, you can see how the two things come together, the art in our studios and the art of our lives. So that's really exciting. So let me get into this exciting news that I've got to share with you guys. Today is the 19th and my last episode of The Elements will be airing this afternoon at 4 o'clock, and I'm looking at the element of wood. Hi everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. It's lovely to see you here. If you've just joined us, we're talking about my new series that I'm launching. Please drop me a comment, tell me where you're watching from, and remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel because this is starting to go big, right? Okay, so we're finishing off the elements today with the element of wood, and that's exciting. Let me grab my journal for you guys. Just give me 1 second. It's right here. I didn't know I wanted to share it with you, but here we go. So today you guys will see how I created this page in my art journal, and that's exciting. I literally used wood in my page there. Then on the 26th of June, that is next Monday, I'm going to show you guys on YouTube how to create your own art journal using recycled material. Now again, I didn't think I want to show you, but it's not far, it's right here. So what I've done is I've created a concertina journal using recycled paper. And this is the journal. Oh, I'm going to be playing in. If I can turn the page just a little bit. There you go. This is the journal I'm going to be playing in with the new series. And what's exciting for me about this art journal is it's 100% recycled. This comes out of boxes. Yes, I didn't go to the art supply store. I didn't buy paper. The only thing on here that I bought was the geisha and the glue. So this is all recycled, and that's exciting because we are living in a world where there is so much garbage being pushed into landfills, right? So as a hairstylist, I get my stock at the salon every week, and inside the boxes we have this sort of paper, and they really just use this to fill the boxes. It's all crumpled up. But instead of throwing it away, this is like a stronger newspaper, and it's already recycled. So, you know, double recycling, yay! So that is what I'm using. So you guys can use any paper you want. If you also want to recycle, great to join me. Hi, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for your love. So that's going to be exciting. But if you're not into making an art journal, then go get one, or, you know, use an old diary that's maybe lying in your cupboard that, you know, it's just collecting dust. So you can turn that into a beautiful art journal. So what a great way to recycle, right? Then on the 3rd of July, our new series will start. And the new series, drum roll, is all about composition. Yes. So you guys might roll your eyes and you go, oh God, we have already done composition in art school or whatever. But you know what? I haven't. Remember, I am a self-taught artist, and what I like to do is to grow my art through challenging myself in focusing on a specific series or a specific kind of topic. And for the next, how many weeks did we say? For the next 16 episodes, I'll be focusing in on composition and all the different forms of composition. So as a self-taught artist, I think that's amazing because that will elevate my art to a next level in trying to figure out and explore composition in this way. And you guys are welcome to join me, right? So you might have a degree in art. I bow to thee. But you know what? You might be a self-taught artist like I am, and I bow to you as well, because you know what? It takes a lot of courage either way. So I want to challenge you guys. If you know about composition and you're an expert at it, also join us, because your information and sharing is invaluable, right? Coming back to that sharing, supporting, and co-creating part of our community, right? So I'm going to be looking at these forms of composition, and this is my sort of board that I'm looking at, and there's 16 different kinds of composition that I will be exploring every week in this new art journal, and just see how it will come together as an art piece, you know, and in doing, we are learning, we're executing, and we are figuring out problems, and we're solving problems, because art really is that, isn't it? It's about creating and then solving a problem and making a choice and repeating. That's literally what art is. And in the end, you sit with a product, you know. So I'm so excited to be able to share this with you guys. Hi, Marina Martland, all the way from England, and is also a self-learning artist. Yay! Thank you guys. Oh, I love the sharing. It means so much to me to be able to connect with my community and to share with you guys and to grow together, right? Okay, so that will be on the 3rd of July. I'm going to start with composition. And I think the first one we're going to be looking at is called cross form. So just using, you know, horizontal and vertical lines and bringing it together in an interesting way. And then, you know, I will share with you guys going forward, looking at that composition. And maybe I will see that I need some art elements to bring to my art journal for that particular week. And if I feel like creating new collage elements to play with, I will maybe spend a week or a free bonus episode on showing you exactly how I created those collage elements that I'm going to be using in my art journal. Right, so the last bit of my announcement series today, coming to a conclusion for this live, I want to share with you guys on the 2nd of July, I'm going to be doing a live sharing on YouTube, painting in the park style. Now, I know you guys know that I've been doing painting in the park for the last 3 years, once a month here in the Botanical Gardens of Pretoria. And it's absolutely wonderful to do the coaching thing with a live audience and take them through the whole process at the canvas, self-discovery, learning about resilience, and discovering that limiting thoughts and ideas of art in particular is what prevents most people from even trying. I've got people showing up for those classes that say, I hope we're not going to draw today because I can't even draw a stick figure. Do you identify? Raise your hand. You know what I give those people? I give them a piece of paper and a pencil and I say, please draw me a stick figure. Because we all know that we can, right? So that's just a great example of how we take on limiting beliefs and ideas and we start to believe them so firmly because we keep telling ourselves this lie over and over and over. In a way, sort of we defend ourselves, we protect ourselves. Maybe we had an art trauma that we are trying to protect and not being shamed or ridiculed or laughed at or not to compare, you know. So the minute we realize, when we stand with a pencil on the page, we realize how ridiculous it is. Of course we can draw a stick figure, right? And in the end, it is so amazing when I look at these people that tell me they've never painted in their life, and I know that's not true because we all played with paint at some stage, is to see them with the finished artwork and it all looks, you know, you can see it was the same class and everyone attained the goal for the day, albeit step by step. But it is a process and it's a journey, and there's a lot of self-realization that happens in the process. So what am I going to be doing with you guys on the 2nd of July? It's a Sunday at 10 o'clock South Africa Standard Time. Yes, I know it's very late for you guys in the States, but it will be recorded so you can watch it at any time. We're going to be playing with a hamster, and I'm going to be showing you guys how I create this beautiful artwork. And I'm going to show you guys a simple way to create this hand of Fatima or blessing, protection, abundance, and so forth. And this is just one of my artworks that's also going to be in my art exhibition that will happen in September, but more about that later. So if you're interested, join us live on the 2nd of July on YouTube. You will see that it's already on my live part of my channel. So if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, please go over to YouTube, type in at Gideonslight. You will find me there. I do share my videos over into the Creative Heart group. But to attend this live and to know that you will be able to see it, it's best to subscribe to my channel and then go to the live playlist. You will see that the 2nd of July is there, the Hand of Fatima one, and you guys can just push the notification bell and you will be reminded of that particular live that's going to happen on the 2nd of July. It's also going to start at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I'm going to just take you through a simplified painting in the park process. So it will be here in my studio. I'm not going to be in the park. It's winter here in South Africa, and I'm standing here in my lovely studio with my heater on because it's quite cold out today. So there will be a replay available at any time, but for those of you that attend that live, and also I have provided my PayPal link on that particular event that will happen on YouTube. My PayPal link is just if you want to bless me with a donation. It is not expected, it is not required. This is a free offering. But as an artist, all, financial blessings is always welcomed. I do need some art supplies. I do need some new canvas, and I would appreciate a heart offering. So you can just put that in the PayPal link and I will be able to enjoy the financial blessings of you guys. So I appreciate it, but it is not required. It is only there if you want to. But for those of you who do bless me with a financial blessing and who attend my live on YouTube on the 2nd of July, I will send you a link to more content never seen before. It is on my YouTube. It is also relating to this topic of the Hamsa. I shared it with my creative coaches earlier this year in an open studio, and that was quite a bit of fun. So I'll show you another way that you can approach this beautiful art project for yourself, and hopefully you will create something pretty and beautiful that you can hang in your studio or at your front door as a blessing for your home, for protection and for welcoming in abundance. And we'll be exploring this symbol that is found in most of our religions on the planet, and each of their sort of perspective on this amazing hand symbol. So that's what I'm going to be sharing with you guys on the 2nd of July. So that's really it for me, you guys. That's what I wanted to share with you guys. And again, I wanted just to say thank you to all of you for taking the time of tuning in and for all of your love and support over in my Creative Heart group. You guys are amazing, and I'm trusting that we will continue to grow and share together as we go forward. So if there is any questions, please feel free to just type it into the chat. At the end of this live, I will take some time to go over and read all of your lovely comments, and I will respond to all of them personally. So you know what? I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the studio and in your art journals. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll speak to you guys again real soon. So that's a wrap for me. So have a blessed Monday, and a very creative one at that. And I'll see you guys this afternoon at 4 o'clock on YouTube when we end up our whole series on the elements with the element of wood. And then we'll jumpstart into the composition from next week. Thank you guys for tuning in. Love from South Africa, and I'll speak to you guys again soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye for now. Bye, everybody. I don't know how to stop this live. I don't know how to stop this live. I've never done this before.